Hi, I'm homosexual Bryan Safi.
And I'm feminasty Erin Gibson.
And this is Attitudes.
Gender issues.
LGBTQ plus issues.
Pop culture.
I want a paper check. And that's how I pay. And that's how I receive. Do you understand? Perfect. Funny? For sure. Funny jokes.
Can you handle it? What are you talking about? I love paper checks. There's nothing that gives me more satisfaction than doing fake money.
I love my paper checks. It's so fun because it reminds me to my childhood when, like, did you ever used to pretend to write checks?
Yes, and we also had, as you did, had a stolen bank tube.
Yeah, the best.
And my sister and I would ask for dum-dums so we could play bank and put the dum-dums in there. Because did they do that for you when you went to the bank with your mom?
Of course. Also, in 4th grade, we had to do like a bridge project, and like someone
what
had
does
to
that
be.
mean?
It was like we had to build these bridges out of toothpicks and like.
Oh, okay. It was like not like it wasn't like bridging the gap between 5th and 6th grade.
No.
It was
we were all
bridges.
firmly on our own sides. You understand? There was no. It was too, by 4th grade, it's too late to build bridges. The bridges have to really be built by like 2nd or 3rd grade at the latest. Otherwise, I mean, I was already in my faction. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The damage is done.
Exactly. Or as in 4th grade, you know, I wore my famous shirt, Faction of One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so there were.
If you declare war on me, you just declare war on me because it's just me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, when we built these bridges, it was in teams of 4. It was like toothpick bridges, and someone had to be like the architect, the builder, and everyone had a job, and one of the jobs was accountant. And when I asked what the accountant did, our teachers said, well, you know, they sort of keep track of the money, make sure you stay on budget, and they write the checks. So when she said, who wants to be the accountant? I was on the edge of my seat waiting for that question, and my hands shot up, and I was the only one.
Yeah, you had to get your rotator cuff replaced because it went up so fast.
Exactly.
You were the only one who wanted to be the accountant?
The only one. Everyone else wanted to be the builder or like the architect. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm ready to write those checks. I'm ready to be rich. I will take us over budget. You know?
Yeah, I will. You'll have to get a whole nother panel to look into all the mismanagement that I have done.
No kidding. And by the way,
I am the mayor of Bell. Thank you so much.
After each check is cashed, I need it back so I can write void on it. Okay?
What was the other job? Was there like a chef?
I think there was a chef.
A driver.
There was an actor. There was a ribbon cutter.
There was?
Yeah, for when the
I'm actually shocked you didn't volunteer for that.
I can't believe it either. But it was truly.
Did you get to have big scissors?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But huge. Dee 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 dee.
There it is. Now, why would I know that that's Jellicle Cats from the front?
Dee 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 dee. Ladies and gentlemen,
the front looks like a breakdancing logo.
I got to tell you. I saw, God forgive me. God, please come down and smite me. Just a word I don't think we use enough.
No.
God forgive me. I saw the one, the only. A musical I have now seen probably 5 times. I hate it.
This one?
No. Just any version of it.
Yeah.
I saw Cats.
Are you including the movie?
Including the movie.
Uh-huh.
Because I used to watch the VHS tape because it had that white slutty cat and I loved her. No longer. I have to, and by the way, I have seen that show so many times. I know 2 songs. None of it is memorable to me.
How could you memorize it? It's jingle jangle.
It's not melodic. Like none of it makes sense. I remember actually.
Isn't it all stream of consciousness?
Practically. It's all T.S. Eliot poems that he just wrote down what he would talk to his cat about. So he'd be like, wibble, wormble. You know what I mean? Like it's stupid.
Sounds like a first draft to me.
I agree. I told my friend in New York that I was seeing Cats, and he's not from the United States. He didn't really know what Cats was. And I said, I'm seeing Cats. And he goes, is it an acronym for something? And I go, no, it's literally just called Cats, the musical. It's about cats.
I love that everyone in your life is like, oh, bridges, so it stands for something cooler than it is.
No,
And you're
I'm
like,
not
nope.
deep. I'm not deep. There's not, people have to understand, there's not a layer beneath this one. Why do you think I take such good care of my skin or try to?
Yeah, because it's
There's
all there is.
nothing underneath
There's
it.
literally it's just popcorn under there.
Absolutely not. I'm a dumb whore. Like, my beauty to me is skin deep. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, am I getting, that's who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, there's no layers. I saw Cats, AKA what they're calling this new production in New York, what they're calling the Jellicle Ball, because it is set essentially during like Paris is Burning in the 80s, the ballroom culture. It's a ballroom competition. It is, I have to tell you, it is the only time this musical has ever made a lick of sense to me. And Andrew Lloyd Webber, no credit goes to him. It all goes to the person who conceived this idea, because every song because all it is intros to different names of cats. That's all it is. But every song would be like, category is realness. And then it would be like, who was going to be the cat they're talking about. It was all a big drag competition, ballroom competition. It was so brilliant. The dancing blows your fucking
Well, that would be there for that.
top off. It's unbelievable. The dancing is truly like, you can't even believe, like, the voguing, the acrobatics, the tricks. Magical Mr. Mistopheles in this case, I have to tell you at one point, one of their magic tricks is and no one is dressed like a cat.
Oh, great.
I think it just means like cool cats. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But no one's dressed like a cat. One of the tricks is one of the dancers tries to outdo Magical Mr. Mistopheles. So Magical Mr. Mistopheles snatches off that cat's wig and throws it in the air, and the wig is attached to a string and it goes all the way up into the rafters. It shoots up. That's what's happening in this show.
And you're saying, wait, how long was the show?
Okay, so it's lengthy. It's 2.5 hours with an intermission. I have to tell you, I would have sat through it all over again. And again, this is no credit to Andrew Lloyd Webber at all.
So wait, it's only going until September 8th. So basically, if you hear this review, you like get on it.
However, I can't imagine it wouldn't make a Broadway transfer. It's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Someone said they were going to tour.
Well, it absolutely should. And if it does, you absolutely have to go.
I'll see it.
I have to tell you, between that and Oh Mary, I love that the theme, and even really in the country more and more, I love that the theme in theater right now in New York are the two things that have hit the most are true pieces of joy. Like, so exciting and fun, and you're not going home with a heavy heart after spending 2.5 hours with like the most oppressing themes you can think of. This was joyous, exciting. I have to say, Memory, the song Memory, sung by someone, a trans person who plays Grisabella, like the old quote cat. It was the one real somber moment in the show, and it's never made more sense, because essentially when you think about someone in the 80s singing this, having lost their friends, having in this new environment of bebeing discarded, ignored by all this stuff, it doesn't have to say it's political. When they sing it, it's immediately political. And you're like, it's all, and it really speaks to that thing of like, when you are in the bounds of a musical that makes no sense, that really gives you a lot of constrictions. And it's almost like those constrictions make what you're not saying more important. Like you see things more, instead of just being like a song about, I lost all my friends and this is the world I'm living in. Like, that's not how the song was intended, but that's how the song is received in the show. It was unbelievable. And by the way, I hate fucking things.
Is that your assessment? Because it sounds deep.
It is my assessment. Oh, that's true. First of all, I was sitting next to someone. Here's what I'll tell you, and I'll go for one more minute on this, because I know that I'm going on and on about a show no one's seen. But I'll say this. When I walked in, I thought I was in for trouble, because they said, like, there's all the stages is a runway and the seats are all around it. And I was like, oh no, I don't like.
You thought it was going to be like a Gallagher show?
Oh, I can't do this. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't like being included in things. I don't like experiential shit. And they tell you, like, like, feel free to be loud and scream and stand up and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh God, no. I paid to have a seat. Like, I'm here to sit. I don't do that. Erin, I
want
myself.
someone to look at me and say, is this person alive?
I was by myself, and it immediately started off horribly. This was before the show started because the woman next to me was screaming about no, not her. Her husband next to her was screaming about the fact that he had COVID twice this year.
Ah. And they weren't British.
No, but they kept saying COVID. I didn't know what to do.
I mean, you're in for trouble at that point because you can't correct them. They both agree that's how it should be said. But that's a strong marriage.
I saw this show by myself. I literally, Erin, by myself, was screaming, hooting, hollering. It was incredible.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
And then I listened to the soundtrack afterward, and I hated it. So really, this isn't about appreciating the music anymore.
This is about the visual.
This is about the visual and the experience. And I've never seen dancing like that IRL.
I mean, I'm sad that I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be.
I have a feeling it's going to pop its head up again. I mean, do
you think they would extend?
I would hope.
Do they ever do that? Do they do that on Broadway?
They do on Broadway. They do, but it just depends on. I think if the theater is booked for something right after, but there's no way that this experience dies there.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I mean, I had doubts. Although no, I didn't have doubts.
I fully did. When someone was like, you have to see the new Cats, I was like, I can't sit through that thing again. There's no melody. I walk away. Memory's a beautiful song, and then we're done.
And then was it totally packed?
Packed. There was only one ticket left the night I went.
Mwah. Yeah. I love it. Nothing makes me happier. I want to see people doing art, doing weird stuff.
That's what it felt like.
Thriving and being rewarded for that.
And that was another thing. It's like, as long as you're having fun, do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That it took 40 years to make this musical make sense.
Yeah, how did they even get the rights to do it? Or is that like, or were
I
they
think
just
Andrew
the
Lloyd
ones
Webber
who
at this
were
point is like, I can't believe anyone wants to do this. You've got it.
You got it.
And if he takes any credit for this, I'll be so pissed.
How could he?
Yeah,
he might. I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I don't know.
I don't either. I just don't.
Anyway,
wish I did. That's boring for everybody. I actually can't believe I went on.
No, I can't believe it exists, and I can't believe you went to see it by yourself.
So this is what I want to tell children and adults. If there's a musical that you love that you actually think was absolutely awful, just do something fucking weird with it. That makes you, I don't know. And same with Oh Mary. There's nothing true about that show. Not one thing. Cole just wanted to have fun. That was the genesis of it. Cole didn't know this was going to take off and be a big hit like this. They just wanted to have fun. It really is such a nice thing. You've said it before, Erin. Like, you've said it before when you're like, by the way, just like write what you want to write. The things that get made are like not good. So who fucking cares?
No,
sometimes the worst idea wins. Just who cares?
Make the weirdest thing, and then maybe it doesn't get made, but then maybe someone you love or admire is like, I gotta be in your orbit or whatever, you know?
Exactly.
Write the weirdest thing in your fucking brain, and that's how you win.
That's right.
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
Exactly. That's like, what's that movie? For instance, Erin, My Fair Lady was also originally set at a drag ball. And
I didn't know that.
No, and then they were like, how could we make this weirder?
Because of Victoria? Oh, no, she wasn't in that movie.
No, Julie Andrews wasn't. But
who was that one?
Well, in the movie it was Audrey Hepburn, but Julie Andrews did it on Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love that. Hey, have I ever showed you my
No, and I don't want to see it.
Well, you're gonna.
I'm gay for a reason.
Well, this is gonna make you more gay.
Okay.
This is my pencil case. I bought it at a little store in Highland Park.
I really didn't.
Have you seen it?
That's where we were gonna go here. I know, Erin. I regret to inform you, I haven't seen your pencil case. Can I see?
Well, yeah, I'm going to show you my pencil case, but I want you to know I'm going to show you from the back, and then I'm going to turn it around. But you're going to see the problem instantly with what I did.
Oh, I'm so excited! Actually.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wait, close your eyes. Okay. Open them.
What?
But it's a pig. But it doesn't look like if you just see this, it looks like a big fat dick.
I honestly thought what you were holding in your hand right now was a fat dick.
Yeah, it looks like a fat vibrator. I saw this.
It looks like
at the cute little stationery store at Highland Park, and I was like, "What a cutie!" And then I take it to the writer's room, and everyone goes, "What the fuck is that?" And I go, but it's a pig. And they're like, but not on this side. On this side, it's a big
fat dick.
Thick dick.
With some sort of a, I'm worried about the hanging participle.
There's pencils inside.
I'm obsessed.
Can you imagine if I was in high school and I did some shit like this?
No, that's
I'd
like
be
a
crucified.
Prince Harry, British pink.
It's the wrong color.
Pig dick.
Because it's a cartoon dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like it's Pepto-Bismol pink, but it's like Simpsons dick.
Yeah, it reminds me of The Simpsons.
Anyway, I took it in public a couple times and I shouldn't have, but now I feel like I've got to commit to it. By the way, there was a penguin. It was black and white. And
no, you've got to get the pig because they have those sweet little beady eyes. I love a pig. It's so cute.
Don't you want to pet me in, you bad hoe?
Do you know that pigs were not native to the United States? They were brought over here by the British.
Oh, British did so
along with
many cool
earthworms.
things.
Earthworms apparently had been extinct in America for over 10,000 years. And then the British brought them over.
In what?
Well, they would put mud at the bottom of their ships to not to make them hold steady better.
Waterproof?
I guess, and to weigh them down more, maybe. I don't fucking know. But then they would unload the mud and the earthworms would be in the mud. And then they also brought, measles and smallpox.
Yes. Listen.
It's just wonderful.
The British and the Dutch really did the coolest stuff in the world.
And pigs.
They really did.
Yeah.
And pigs. They brought pigs over.
Yeah.
Which is why I have this.
Isn't that wonderful?
Thanks, colonizers.
Yeah. Erin.
Bryan, what's happening on Dateline?
Okay. I'm at Dateline. I'm having a Dateline.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you this. This week, this episode is called House of Horrors. Horrors.
Did they get COVID?
They didn't get COVID.
Oh, COVID.
In the House of Horrors. And I have to be honest with you. This was a really good one.
I really wish you'd start being honest
I will.
with me.
Because this had all kinds of tricks and trinkets. A professional dove releaser. Can't think of anything better.
So I don't own the doves. I don't feed the doves. I don't clean their cage.
And honestly,
I just release.
I really do at some point want to go and do a deep dive like I did with the pigs and the smallpox about where did they get the doves from to release them? They can't be catching them.
I'm sure they're breeding. They caught 2 doves and then the rest is history.
Necklaces on necklaces. Necklaces that someone basically put a necklace in their ear instead of an earring. Okay, so that's on this. I'm here for this.
Line. And are they in like a punk band?
They're not in a punk band. It's set in Texas, and a mother-in-law.
Say no more. I know exactly what these fucking necklaces look like. Are they silver beads with also turquoise? But not Southwestern.
That idea, yeah.
It's not Southwestern. It's like
basically a woman who wears circles.
Yes,
all
Anne
over her
Klein.
body. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a mother-in-law has never been this involved. I'll say that. This is like classic.
Worse than monster-in-law?
Yeah, I would say. So that's exciting. Also, big news alert. So you can go to patreon.com/attitudes for that. Huge news alert. Groceries is starting next week.
That's right. We've already
coming out actually in a few days. It comes out on Tuesday, starting September 10th. It'll be available for the $10 and up tiers. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. A brand new season of groceries. Additionally, we have our Vault episode on the Patreon. We discuss how the new James Bond movie should have been called Sky Mall instead of Skyfall, which I have to say is very funny. I wish it would have been. And Jeffrey Self in the first guest appearance that he made on this show. Also a reminder that on YouTube, you can get the first act of our video episodes every week for free. That's the first act. You can watch the full thing on patreon.com/attitudes. But if you go to YouTube and search Attitudes Pod, you'll see those. Watch parties on Discord Wednesday nights. Also, the link for the Discord is in the episode description. And and for the groceries that comes out Tuesday, now and forever, send in your tales from the aisles, product labels. You can send all that to groceriespodcast@gmail.com. That's groceriespodcast@gmail.com.
Do you want to tease what our first 2 grocery stores are?
Yes. I covered the Wegmans and Astor Place in New York. Erin covered McGraw and Shaw. McCall's
Meat and Fish.
McCall's Meat and Fish.
Formerly of Los Feliz, currently of Atwater.
That's right. And the Wegmans I covered was formerly a Kmart, where U2 legit kicked off their tour for the Pop Mart tour.
Pop Mart, which Bryan thinks was in the late 90s, but I believe was in the early 2000s.
Might have been the early 2000s. And Bono was recently asked why they did that, and he said he didn't know, he couldn't remember, and it was a weird thing to do. So it's some exciting groceries. It's
good to know that U2 is self-aware.
Absolutely.
If you take anything from this podcast, it's that U2 knows when they make mistakes. Okay.
Listen, we should all take a tip.
Well, I love taking tips. I love getting tips.
Yeah.
And taking tips.
I hope not that tip of the pig.
No, I couldn't handle this.
No, who could?
I got a Thumbelina pussy.
Okay, I'm really ready to. Honestly, I'm ready to stop recording altogether. I mean permanently. Erin.
Wait, can I say something? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
I just want to apologize. I have insane allergies, and so I'm going to be interrupting probably with sneezes at some point. I got to blow my nose.
You know what?
Okay, I'm done.
Honestly, Erin, you're not helping your case. I mean, I'm 1 foot out the door. Do you understand that?
I can't help it.
I'm 1 foot out the fucking door.
Bryan, I just got a little bit of allergies. I can't help it.
Oh, God. Please, now you're talking. Honestly, this is what I also
Didn't
learned.
you know any girls from Texas who sounded like that?
Yeah. In fact, they're in the Dateline this week. And it was a little triggering for me.
I bet. I can't wait to be triggered by it.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's fine. I actually learned something this week. Because, I've talked about on the show before how, I think weird is such a weak thing to call somebody.
Yeah.
You remember? But
even though it's working.
Even though it's working. And I finally understand why it's working. And I hadn't really understood before.
Oh.
And I got this from LGBTQ Nation, where someone hypothesized about this. Because the right thinks weird means queer. They think it means gay, quote, not normal.
Mm-hmm.
And the right is a party. I don't know about Donald Trump himself, but the Republican Party is a party that prides itself on seeming normal, on seeming like, we're just like you. We have beer with you. We go to church with you. Da-da-da-da. We're normal. And that is why I think something like leveling a slam on someone like you're destroying democracy, people can't really absorb that. You know what I mean? I mean, I can. But people, and I'm dumb as shit. But people can't really absorb that. But weird is such an offense to them because I think they think it means like a drag queen is weird.
Yeah.
A gay person is weird. A trans person is weird. Those things are weird. Art is weird. And so that's why they're taking, because actually Donald Trump in a speech recently said they've been calling me and J.D. Vance weird. And he goes, he's not weird. That guy is so straight. And went on to talk about how straight he was. And I was
that's
like,
weird.
Oh, this is clicking. This is why you hate it. Because you don't want to come off as anything other than normal and normal
hetero.
To them. Right, exactly. Bigoted. Right.
Did you see that video of J.D. Vance behind? It was like Tim Vance. I'm sorry. Wow.
Tim Walz.
Tim Walz behind backstage at the DNC, and then J.D. Vance backstage at the RNC, where he's just going through the free stuff that they get.
Unbelievable. Yes, where he's like, look, Doritos.
Just picking up free food, just slamming it down.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So weird.
Oh, I love that you figured it out.
Yeah, well, with some help, I did figure it out, and I like truly
that it's Mean Girl. You know what I mean? Because it's dismissive in a way too. It's like, you're weird, and it's like punching them where it hurts. Yeah, because they want to seem so average and like everyday da 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 da. You know what I mean? Old school Americana, which is such bullshit anyway. It's exactly what you always talk about too when people start talking, like evangelicals and politicians who are so far right talk about all the weird sex stuff that they think gay people do in their bedrooms. 100%. It's like 100%. That's your thought process. So exactly. You like doorknobs in the butthole, not these people. No one even thought about that. So you brought it up. LGBTQ Nation linked to a thing where
a lot of Republicans have responded to accusations of being, quote, weird by stating, well, queer people are more weird. So that is how they're receiving it.
Yeah.
Which is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, gross. But yeah, Trump
also,
said,
if it's working because obviously they care to respond to it.
They can't stop talking about it. Trump said, J.D. Vance is so straight. He's smart, a top student, great guy. He's not weird and I'm not weird. I'm a lot of things, but not weird.
Yeah, we both believe that women should be at home and barefoot and pregnant. What did J.D. Vance said something last week that was like career women are
he is fully settled into, like, you have to give it to him, his villain era. Like, he's just in it now. He's fine with it. He's fine.
Also, he stands for nothing because he obviously didn't feel this way 3 years ago.
No, absolutely not. No. And you know what? He really had a shot at getting like an Estee Lauder campaign. Or frankly, even a Merle Norman campaign with the eyeliner.
Yes.
He really had a chance.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Arden, I'm talking old school.
Oh, yeah. Red Door era. I wish he was in his Red Door era.
I wish he was in his Red Door era, if I'm perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. But he's in his Poison era, and I don't mean Christian Dior.
Absolutely not. Oh, God, what a great name for it. There's not a better name for a perfume.
No, and there's not a better perfume to hide the smell of cigarette smoke besides Fendi.
Is that true?
Yeah, those are the two perfumes. If you're going to smoke cigarettes in your own closet as a teenager, let me give you some advice. Grab a real heavy perfume, something that, a French lady in 1930 might have worn.
Mm.
That's how you cover up the tobacco smell.
Douse yourself.
They just think you're going out for a stroll on the Champs-Élysées.
Absolutely.
They don't think you're smoking Marlboro Lights.
Or they're like, did you hook up with someone's grandmother? They might think that too.
Have you been making out with an 87-year-old woman from the 7th arrondissement?
Did you hook up with a madam in 19th century Paris?
Are you rubbing the DVD case for Moulin Rouge starring Nicole Kidman all over your body?
Yeah. Did you see Poor Things and relate to the little lady who ran the brothel? Did you hook up with her? Okay.
Where is it? Where's that little puffy thing on the side of a glass canister? I know you have one. An atomizer?
I know you have one. I know you have one.
Oh, cigarettes? Oh, I don't care about that.
Right. You know what I would love if Gen Z got really into talcum powder?
Wait, what's Chapel Roan?
I don't know. I don't know if she's millennial or Gen Z.
Okay. Well, she wears a lot of what looks to be talcum powder on.
She does. She is powdered up. She's powdered up.
But it might be the era.
Well, I talked about this last week.
No shade, by the way. I adore her.
Of course.
Okay.
I talked about this I don't think she would be afraid to say she uses a lot of powder. It would be weird if she didn't say it.
I love that she looks like
does.
a 17th century ghost.
I know, she does. I talked about it last week, but there are now major corporations folding under the threat of a Robbie Starbuck investigation.
Yes.
Robbie Starbuck is the person who is taking down corporations one by one for including DEI hiring practices, language, anything like that in their hiring practices. And here's what I want to say actually about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is so shocking to me how the right can take words like those three words, which are not offensive. Diversity is not a curse word. Equity is not a curse word. And inclusion is like absolutely none of these things are curse words. And in fact, if you want to go by it, are pretty New Testament. You know what I mean? This is really like what people should be in it for.
If they called it the do unto others, practices.
Exactly.
Then they would be like, well, maybe I have to back off.
Now, I am thrilled that at the left and at the convention is really taking back words like freedom, patriot, because it's sort of grabbing back. It's almost frankly like taking back queer a little bit. Yeah. It's sort of like, no, you're not a patriot when you're trying to destroy this country. That's not a patriot. And you're not out for giving freedoms to more people or just spreading the wealth. That's not your vibe. So like, you can't use those words. I feel though that somehow the right has taken diversity, inclusion, and equity and really made them strong curse words. And to that, I say, I really want the left to get those things back and talk about the beauty of those things. Yeah. Own it. Remember when Obama owned in the debate with Mitt Romney in 2012? owned Obamacare because before that, Obamacare was basically considered like the right used it to make fun of that legislation. They didn't call it, the ACA or whatever. They called it Obamacare. And everyone was like, the Fox News came up with it. Oh, it's Obamacare. It's Obamacare. And at the debate, Mitt Romney says, sorry to say it, Obamacare. And Barack Obama goes, I like it. I like when people call it that. Makes me proud.
At the DNC this year when he said, I guess I don't call it Obamacare anymore because it's working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I just say, like, don't be afraid of terms that other people are abusing. Like, those terms should just be brought back by the left, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and bolded and highlighted as like, look at what we offer. You know what I mean? We're proud that we stand by those things and that you're so threatened by them. These aren't even threats. But these are not insults. Those words should not be taken as insults. And they should definitely, diversity, equity, inclusion are 3 words that should not be dog whistles. And yet here we are. They are. Because Robbie Starbuck has made these things essentially, when he says that companies incorporate DEI practices, what he's saying is attack them. And it's crazy that it's working because this week, Ford, as in the giant motor company, without any investigation from Robbie Starbuck, started shaking in their boots a little bit that they could face boycotts.
So they
Yes.
canceled?
The Ford Motor Company said they're no longer going to participate in the human rights campaign, HRC's Corporate Equality Index. And the Corporate Equality Index is the benchmark that measures policies, practices, for LGBTQ plus employees. They are the driving force behind queer inclusion and workplace inclusion for, queer workers, the driving force. So Ford Motor Company said, we're no longer going to practice these things. We're no longer going to incorporate these things into our hiring practices. And they said, we're mindful that our employees and customers hold a wide range of beliefs, and the external and legal environment related to political and social issues continues to evolve. They are also using, the way Jack Daniels did last week, this phrase, we've evolved beyond this to where we need these things.
What's interesting,
what are you talking about? Why don't you just say you're scared?
Yeah. Also, you could have just said nothing. The CEO is Jim Farley, who is also on
Harley Davidson.
Yes.
Yeah. Which also backed out of
his name's Jim Farley for Harley?
Listen.
No.
Do you think that? No. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if some dude behind the desk was like, it's good enough for me. You're hired.
Wait, and Chris Farley's his cousin?
Isn't that wonderful?
Now I can't.
It's all, the world is too small. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're a white, straight,
Exactly.
Then you kind of know everybody.
Exactly. But yeah, they have said that they are going to halt any part of any of this DEI hiring practices, anything like that, at the Ford Motor Company, which is a giant company, simply because, by the way, I thought Ford was tough because they're afraid of any potential backlash that they have these practices. I think these companies wanted to throw in the towel on this anyway.
I'll tell you another thing. Is Ford doing too well? Is this also a way to
no idea,
pander to, I don't know, like I don't, this is a theory and I'm just doing random word association without doing any research, but like if the Ford truck isn't doing well, compared to Chevy, and they would be like, do something like this to pander to regular, hateful Americans. I just wouldn't, that seems like a reason to do this. I don't know. There's no other, not a good reason, but what other reason is there to do it?
And by the way, obviously DEI does not just support queer people. What it also supports is women in leadership, obviously employees of color, queer employees, the entire thing. And Ford Motor Company hires hundreds of thousands of people. They're a giant, obviously, corporation and hirer. And it's just so gross that they wouldn't prioritize these things for making a better work environment for their employees, for increasing visibility, for making really diving into a new pool of top talent that they simply have probably passed over for decades and decades, and probably still do even with these inclusions.
Mm-hmm.
It's really gross.
I just confirmed what I thought. GM truck sales are pounding Ford. I hate
that's
to
very
sound
sexy.
like,
It's very homoerotic.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's into like gay for pay,
yeah,
GM pounding Ford is really the ultimate.
GM
example.
pounding Ford.
Pounding Ford.
And I don't know. I'm basically doing aliens, whatever, ancient aliens for this. That's what I'm doing right now.
My favorite
you know
book.
What I mean?
Yeah. Ancient Aliens. Honestly, my favorite too. Honestly, it was my favorite when we were on vaudeville, Erin. That was I thought our best work.
Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, because we would do songs, dances, tap dances, but we would have alien heads on.
Yes,
that
people
was so
loved
great.
It. And
Except we did get the claw every time.
Yeah,
we got that giant cane dragging us off the stage.
And people don't know this, but we were ahead of our time in that when 311 started.
311.
When 311 became a band, they found our old albums and said, we want this to be kind of our font, our vibe, or whatever. But we were doing it in a whole different way. They kind of took what we were doing and made it like, a skateboards.
Not cool.
Mm-mm.
I hooked up with a guy once who lived in Glendale a long time ago who was bragging. And he
was bragging?
Yes. Because he had a really nice house. And he was like, you should come by again sometime. I'm friends with one of the guys from 311. He lives down the street.
I know exactly who it was. It's Chad Sexton, who runs Chad Sexton Drum City, who I took drum lessons from.
You're kidding.
Well, it has to be because
when did you take drum lessons? I don't remember that.
Before I met you.
Oh.
I only took.
Did I kill your dream?
No, I have. Listen, Chad Sexton's drum shop used to be it was in North Hollywood, but I don't know if I thought he was the only member of 311 living in Los Angeles.
That could be true.
Why do I know this? I have to assume it's Chad Sexton. But why would you or this hookup?
Yeah.
Was this hookup on the DL?
I don't think so.
I don't
actually don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
I want to be inclusive to the entire queer community.
Okay.
But I don't know
it's very
one person.
anti-Ford Motor Company of you, but go ahead.
I don't know anybody who likes 311 in this group of people.
I saw them live once and I don't even. Oh, no. By the way, my brother took me. I was in like 8th grade.
Okay. Okay. So against your will.
No,
you were at a non-consensual 311.
I wanted to go, but I didn't know their music.
And did you fall in love instantly?
I can't believe I'm denying 311 right now. I really sound like a traitor to them, but I really was never a fan. I hate to break it.
Here's what I want people to do. If you're under 30 and you don't know who 311 is, I want you to go listen to some music, and then I want you to go on iTunes and I want you to review 311 instead of us in our reviews.
Absolutely.
Let us know how you feel about 311 in those reviews.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I did say something. I sort of misstated something actually last week when I said that I thought Bud Light had completely bounced back from their backlash. That boycott was actually very impactful. And I didn't realize that. But they took about a 20% dip in sales. Now, there are reasons behind this from what I have read. First of all, now, by the way, in the first quarter of this year, they were only down 9% from pre-controversy levels. So it is coming back a little bit. But this is what's interesting. I think that part of the reason they were considered so vulnerable from this boycott is because they're so middle of the road in terms of Bud Light beer is very replaceable. Like all light beers really are pretty undifferentiated. Like there's not a lot of, like you can, a Bud Light drinker probably isn't so loyal to Bud Light that they would never drink a Coors Light or a Miller Light. Like it's a pretty easy path to the other thing.
They're in a very precarious marketplace.
Exactly. It essentially like there's not a big difference in tastes in those things. Also, the response from Bud Light was, I guess, very tepid after this happened. Again, there was one can of beer printed for Dylan Mulvaney, trans comedian, influencer, all of this. Basically one 6-pack printed for her that was not sold in stores. And that's what caused this. They just sent her this. And that's what caused this boycott, in case you don't remember. But Bud Light sort of front pedaled and back pedaled, and their response was just really shitty. So I don't know if maybe a Ford boycott. Well, listen, though, they're not going to boycott now because Ford's doing what they want. They're falling right into their trap.
Also, so how do you boycott a car company? Like, that is a huge purchase. Right. It is like...
That's what I mean. So Ford should have had the fucking man up, bro cars. Like, you should have had the fucking... You should have had the fucking terrain or whatever they talk about all the time. The balls to just be like, fuck off.
Yes.
Fuck off, Robbie Starbuck. Yeah, we hire women and people of color.
Not even people. Robbie Starbuck, the ghost, the mist of Robbie Starbuck.
That's what's so just like, Ford, you just jumped in a cold lake. Okay. Shrinkage.
And not one that was directed by Jane Campion.
No, Top of the Lake. Iconic. No.
I love basketball. I love just the idea of a basketball. Gorgeous industrial design. Seems
they are nice.
Jean-Paul Gaultier wishes. Do you know what I mean? Orange that would make a rotten pumpkin jealous.
That's true.
Bumps like a lizard.
Yeah. Wow. I've never really gone so deep on this.
Just stunning. Now, what is not beautiful is what is happening to moms inside of the WNBA. I don't know if you know anything about this. What's going on right now?
I don't.
Okay, well, I know what everyone's thinking. They're like, women's sports must be a veritable paradise. Prenatal massages, lactation rooms, gorgeous overstuffed chairs, paid childcare, postnatal care. N to the O to the P to the E. And what does that spell?
Nope.
That's not fucking happening.
Yeah. That's right. That does spell that.
It does spell nope.
Like cats, it's an acronym.
It is.
Yeah.
No. Oh. Pew. Excuses. Okay.
That's right. Thank you.
Want to thank Connor for this news story. And by the way, my Instagram DMs are open. I check them. I don't. Are
you on Instagram?
Yeah, but I don't post.
I didn't even know.
I just do DMs and I stalk and I see what you're doing and I see what Sergio's doing and I check in on some people and then I get the fuck off.
Well, I thought
but my DMs are open and I check them. So if you have anything that you think I should know about, I just reminder, please send them my way. Do not send me articles from the New York Times.
That's what it is.
But I thought I opened it up.
I don't know. I'm looking at it now. It says private, but I'm following you now.
Yeah, if you follow me, you have to follow me and then I'll accept any requests. But then obviously people from the show, just come at me, bro. And I mean that in an inclusive way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested in niche things. Like this was not a New York Times piece. This was barely covered by the New York Times. So I want to hear local papers, the Boise Blabber, the Joliet Jaw Noise, the San Antonio Spills It.
Absolutely.
The Galveston Gabs.
Yeah.
The Mesa
I love
Murmurs.
Galveston gossip. I always have. Yeah.
The Galveston gossip's better.
It's so good.
Okay, so here's what happened. Once upon a time, Dearica Hamby played for the Las Vegas Aces. She was drafted in 2015 and in 2022 celebrated her first WNBA championship with this team. But then starting in 2022, she also signed a 2-year contract extension. And then suddenly in January 2023, she was traded to the LA Sparks.
Okay.
Now, why would you have a player who won a championship for you and who you just signed a 2-year extension with? Why would you trade them before their contract is up?
Did she get too expensive or something?
No, Dearica said it was because she got pregnant.
Wow.
And she found out she was pregnant.
Isn't that illegal?
Yes.
Because it's essentially firing someone for getting pregnant.
If they admit that they traded her because she was pregnant.
Oh, God.
If they say some other rigmarole about like, oh, well, it's just business. This is how the basketball bounces.
Sure, right.
You know?
This is how the dribble
Don't
drabbles.
get laid up. This is a 2-pointer for you.
It was just an alley-oops.
It was, yeah. They can't say it was an alley-oops. They have to say it's a real driving down the center lane.
Right. A full court press.
Yes,
basketball.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So she found out she was pregnant July 2022. And then she had to take a month off, not for being pregnant, but because she had a right knee bone bruise, which I don't even know what that is. I guess you can bruise your bone. I didn't know that.
I can't believe it wasn't a movie with Drew Barrymore in the late 90s.
Bone bruise?
Right knee bone bruise. That in her like man.
Sometimes when life gives you left knee, you got to do right knee bone bruise.
That's right.
Yeah. So she wasn't like, I'm pregnant, I need time off. She was like, oh, I'm injured, I need time off, which they gave her. She came back to play game 1 of the 2022 WNBA finals, won that while she was pregnant.
Wow.
So while she was pregnant and recovering from injury, she helped bring the Aces to a championship title. And as a matter of fact, her coach, Becky Hammond, said Dearica is her biggest, baddest beast on the court. So Dearica's doing all this while going through all the things that can come with being pregnant: tenderness, bloating, constant urination, morning sickness, all that stuff.
That sucks.
And she's killing it. Okay. But they didn't know she was pregnant then. She announced it at the championship rally. And then that's when Dearica said that the franchise treated her downhill. Now,
after all she had done for them.
Yeah. The language around sports is so upsetting outside of this. Like reading these articles, like the word franchise, the fact that people are traded for other humans. Like,
it's so weird. Yeah.
It's so, I know we're talking about pregnancy protections, but like on top of that, like being like, oh, you were pregnant and we kicked you out of your housing, your team.
You're losing value. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They kicked her out of team housing while she was pregnant. She also has another kid. So kicked her out of the housing, traded her, so then she had to move to LA, get new housing, and do all this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LA's really, it's one of the
easy to find
places.
housing.
Yes. So easy.
Very
They're giving
easy.
it away.
And now she's got to train with a new team. Like, it's all sucks. I watched some interviews with her. She's obviously upset about this, as anyone would be. It sounds like the LA Sparks have been a dream and been very supportive. But she shouldn't have been going. A, fucked up that she went through in the first place. B, while she was pregnant. And this
I didn't realize that players
sports.
didn't have a choice in this.
What do you mean?
Like, you can just get traded?
You have no control.
That's so insane.
As a matter of fact, I think in the NFL, if you get drafted by a team and you don't want to go with that team, you cannot be drafted by any other NFL team. Like, you're radioactive.
Yeah, so you're really not
you have no
free
freedom.
Agent at all.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
Becky, her coach, was put on a 2-game suspension for violating the league's workplace policies regarding how she handled Dearica's departure. And despite that, Coach Becky was like, I maintain that I was supportive of this former player. She said, quote, if she wanted to practice, she practiced. If she didn't, she didn't. Over the top care, actually. Over the top care.
Right.
That sounds like bare minimum support.
Yeah.
According to the lawsuit, after she was traded to the Aces, did a couple of things wrong. Number one, they got access to confidential medical records that they should not have gotten. They did not invite Dearica to the championship celebration at the White House, and they told all the players of the Aces, "You're not to speak to her." This is before the lawsuit.
Wow.
So that sounds hostile to me.
Horrible.
And you know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you had this in your high school, but at my high school, if you got pregnant, they took you out of Gen Pop and they made you go to a separate classroom all day long.
What?
You had
Why?
one teacher and you were with the other pregnant girls, teens, and no one saw you. No one fucking saw you, and you couldn't go to lunch and you couldn't do anything. And here's why I think.
That's so fucked.
Because I think it's a message. Like, I think if they were...
Isn't that wonderful to do that to a teen mother?
I know. I honestly think it was, of course, this is Texas, but I think it was like, if you see a pregnant teen at a lunch table giggling and having fun with her friends.
Oh, that everyone will think it's because she's pregnant and they'll want to get pregnant?
Yes.
I
really think that. And so
I don't understand the trains people go down.
But I don't think it's even like, I think it's all like subconscious. Like, I think that being
no,
like,
I think you're
don't
right.
talk to this pregnant WNBA player. She's not coming with us on any trips. She's ruined
none of this
opportunities.
Is okay. Right.
So I hope you understand that when you ruin your opportunities, then you don't get to reap the benefits of all the things that we've worked for.
Jack Nasty.
I don't think that they're doing that on the surface, but I definitely think that's the fucking message.
Of course. Yeah.
Like, these people are the plague. Do not talk to them.
Got to make a choice, ladies.
Yes. Yeah. Allegedly, Dearica said that Coach Becky was like insinuating that she wasn't careful enough about her birth control. Wouldn't even entertain the thought that this was
a planned pregnancy, or even if it wasn't planned, that she wanted to keep the child. Yeah.
There's only 4 players in the WNBA who have 2 children who have stayed in the WNBA. Only 4.
Wow.
The WNBA says they only 12 of their 139 players are moms, and they wouldn't differentiate whether or not they were the people who gave birth. I assume in like a lesbian couple.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I couldn't find similar stats on the NBA players because in true form doesn't really affect their ability to play. Right. Who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. Dearica never missed a season through both of her pregnancies. Never once. The WNBA has little to no policies in place to support moms with prenatal, postnatal needs. There's a collective bargaining agreement that happened in 2020 that guaranteed things like paid maternity leave and a killer $5,000 stipend per year so that players wouldn't have to risk their careers for motherhood. Well, now, I don't know what the fuck $5,000 does for an entire year. And it also does not protect.
What a wonderful message. Children only cost $5,000 a year.
I mean, let's get some economics straight here.
Right.
It doesn't, the bargaining agreement does not protect members from being traded or benched when they're pregnant at all. There was another player, Skylar Diggins Smith, who had a 21-month gap in her career because of a similar situation. She used to play for the Phoenix Mercury. And then they locked her out of practice facilities. She was denied the team chef, stretch and conditioning coaches, nutritionists, and massage therapists during her maternity leave. So after she had the baby, they denied her all these things that would have made her return to the court much faster. She even said she took personal leave for something, and they were more than happy to grant it to her. But because she was having a difficult pregnancy, she asked for it again, and they were like, "Oh, well, then fuck you," to change all the locks. She was traded to the Seattle Storm, which I think should be Storms.
Yeah,
the singularness of it, I don't know why it hits me in a way.
Yeah.
And hit the court for the first time.
Right, it's not the
year.
LA Spark.
No, you know what I mean?
The Las Vegas
The Aces.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dearica played the Aces on August 18th, her old team. And as she took the court, she was booed by former fans. And her 7-year-old daughter was in the stands. The culture of the WNBA needs to change significantly. The culture of the fans need to change significantly. Mm-hmm. Okay. I couldn't find any stats on how many NBA players are dads, but I could find a bunch of fucking lists on how many father-son duos there are in the NBA. And I'd like to see the same for the WNBA.
I have to say, like, it can be fun to go to live sports. I'm going to sound like the oldest person alive. I don't like when people boo people. I think it's shitty.
Why?
Yeah. And I'm sure these people don't even give a shit, but like, just why? It's so gross. It's so just like Roman Empire nasty.
Yes, it's exactly that. Mm-hmm. I want to see Dearica is in her second season with Los Angeles. She made her third All-Star appearance last month and won a bronze medal at the Paris Olympics in three basketball. So when I'm in LA, you better believe I'm going to be in the stands supporting her on all the weeknights that the LA traffic patterns allow me to get downtown.
Just to be clear, 3 basketball, that's when you have to play with 3 basketballs at once?
Yes, you dribble one hand, another hand, and then whatever body part you can spare.
Whatever you could handle.
Nose, butt.
Well, congratulations on your bronze medal for 3 basketball. Oh, Erin, we another one in the can. Isn't that wonderful? What
can't we do?
Thank you. Well, we can read some reviews from Spotify and Apple.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. 1265650-139 on Spotify said, I'm sad that I must trash the free Jack Daniels tote I received at Virginia Beach Pride this year. Bryan, Erin, keep on slaying. You don't have to trash anything, honey. It's free. It's yours. Enjoy it. But
turn it inside out and go to town.
Yeah, babe. Yeah.
And we got some Apple reviews.
We did.
Giggle v. Tickle.
Oh, my favorite lawsuit.
Giggle v. Tickle. Giggle learns a lesson. Written
our book.
By Jenny the Henny, with additional writing by Erin Gibson and thoughts by Bryan Safi, as found in a scroll with the pages.
That was going to be on the cover page. Oh, God. The next one, beans, 5 stars. We love a bean on this show.
Oh, wait, is this the review?
Oh, here it is. So yes, I got confused. I've been listening to you guys for a few years now and absolutely love you both. Also, thanks to Erin, I've been on the wait list for the Rancho Gordo Bean Club for 2 years and just got the available email. Excited for the reboot of groceries. You guys are the best. Thanks for all the laughs. Very nice.
What a trésor.
The Lancome perfume.
When discussing them perfume flaps, I said to myself, and by the way, that's a reference to magazines. In case you're too TYTK, too young to know.
Available in perfume flaps.
I said to myself, it could only be Trésor. And then by God, Erin said it. Once again, this podcast proves that there is a higher power. And if the Lord wants me bathed in Lancome, so be it. 5 high heel shoe chairs.
Now, I got to say, I don't think Lancome would hire JD Vance.
No.
I do think it has to be because they were a little more like natural,
Maybelline?
Elegant. Yeah, exactly. Maybelline.
Yeah.
Listen, we love you. We cherish you. We love Sergio Lopez, Showtime Chamaco. We love Andy Carson. I don't know I do. Ratmaster Flash. There we go. And
we love each other and we'd love to love.
We love. So if you want to join us with love and share a little laughter.
Oh, please share your laughs with us.
Share your laughs with us. Please.
We'd thank you too.
Yes.